Yes, people, we are now here for my favorite part of the show. And this week we've got a little special one, really. Normally we do our episodes every 2 weeks, but we've decided to do an exclusive interview with, well, you probably know already who it is from the songs we've already played at the beginning of well, at the start of the show. But we have got the Killer Tapes aficionado, head honcho, or ex Killer Tapes, should I say, but also an artist in his own right as well. We have got none other than Grimee Quick, aka Craig at Killer Tapes. Before, obviously, now it's just Craig, or otherwise known as Grimee Quick. Uh, I'm just going to call you Grimee. Fucking why
All
not?
right, man.
So
All right, man.
Grimee, how you doing, my bro? How's
Yo,
things?
thank you.
And
Thanks for having
welcome,
me, man.
welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was a nice introduction as well, man.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. And
That was
appreciate obviously
great.
you giving us this kind of exclusive. Obviously, we're going to be talking about firstly, obviously yourself. But before we obviously kick off the interview about obviously killer tapes and all that jazz, which I'm sure people want to hear about,
Mm.
just want you to introduce yourself, really. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, all that business. And yeah, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, man. I'm a intergalactic space alien, fucking brought to Earth to bestow UK hip hop upon the masses. No, I'm. So it's Craig. Some people call me Craig Killer Tapes. That was a name that was like adopted. Craig Killer Tapes. My rap name is Grimee Quick. I've been in UK hip hop for fucking hell, man, like 20 years or something in different ways. I started Killer Tapes 4 years ago. About a year after that, did the magazine, which is probably what I'm better known for. I think a lot of people assumed that Killer Tapes was just a magazine. I don't think they realised a lot of the time that there was a radio show with it, podcast, they did events as well. And yeah, man, I've been doing this hip hop shit for like a long time, like a couple of decades. But just call me Craig, call me Grimey, call me Grimes, call me that fucking northern cunt, whatever you want to call me, man.
So let's talk about obviously your history, man. How did you get into music? Where did it all start? Did you start off as an MC, producer? What was the kind of beginnings of Grimey Quick, man?
So, probably the easiest way to talk about it is um, before grimy, before doing the rapping stuff or anything like that. So, when I was a kid, without getting too deep and emotional, when I was a kid, my dad left very early on. I was like 4 or 5, and one of the reasons that he disappeared was because he was a just a musician. He wasn't really a dad, you know. He was
Mm.
very much the music guy, you know, and he went off to Leeds University to go and do a degree in music composition and theory. And the only way that I could communicate with this fella throughout time was music. I don't know if he's like autistic or something, or if he's I don't know what he is, man. But
Artistic, maybe?
yeah,
Sorry.
autistic, yeah, autistic slash autistic. Um, and you know, I'm not here to like slate me down and do some victim thing. He's a lovely guy,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. He's self-admittedly not been the best father in the world. However, saying that, conversely, he is an absolutely exquisite musician. He's a beautiful musician, and something that he taught me, bestowed upon me, or whatever, from being like 3 or 4 years old was music.
Hmm.
And there's a story as well that I've told people before, which is that I was like 3 or 4 or something, and I'm in my dad's car, and he's trying to teach me the difference between a 3/4 time signature and a 4/4 time signature. So you've got like 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and then you've got a waltz, which is like 1 2 3, 1 2 3, one
Yep.
two three. And I'm like 4, and I'm just not getting this because naturally your natural rhythm is like 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and he's going, no, no, you're not getting it. It's 1 2 3, 1 2 3. That's a waltz, and I'm like, all right, dad. You know, so music has been something that it's always been there, man. It's, you know, from listening to whether it's like Motown with my mum, and very soulful stuff from my mum, Jackson 5, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, all kinds of stuff, or like you know, Vangelis from my dad, and
Mm,
you know, Stevie, what was he called? Stevie Vaughan, and Fleetwood Mac, and Genesis.
mm,
And all.
mm.
But music has always been something that's there, man. It's not something that I kind of found at a certain age and then got into. It's
Mm.
something that's been impressed upon me from birth, really.
Mhm, mhm,
I
mhm.
was kind of born into a musical family, to put a long story short. So my first musical incarnation, I suppose you could call it, when I was about 12, 13. I got a set of decks,
Yeah.
um, and I was playing like house music. I'm from the north, where like bouncy house, happy hardcore, trance, you know, all that kind of stuff is a lot more prevalent up here than it is maybe down south. So I got into all of that, and then found like MCing through that.
Mhm.
And then when I left school, around about the time that I left school, maybe a little bit earlier, like year 10, year 11 or something, somebody introduced me to hip hop. I was like listening to like house music and Michael Jackson. I was a massive Michael Jackson fan. And then this lad at school was like, "You ever listen to hip hop?" And I was like, "Listen to what?" And he was like, "Listen to hip hop, man. You need to listen to hip hop. Check this out." And the first hip hop that I ever heard was a song was Biggie Smalls, "Going Back to Cali." I'm
Yeah.
going back to Cali.
Yeah.
And he gave me a tape. He gave me this tape, and it was like a mixtape of all these different like hip hop tunes and everything. And I was just like, "What is this, man? This is mad. This is so sick." And then obviously I went down the normal sort of trajectory of like, you know, Biggie Smalls, Nas, Wu-Tang Clan, Cypress Hill, and then discovered UK hip hop when I was like 18, 19, something like that. Somebody showed me some Chester P. I listened to some Jest, and I was like, yo, what? We do it like this. Oh my God. I thought that rappers like rapped in an American accent, you know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I thought that's what rap was, you know what I mean? This is like 99, no, 2001, 2000, whatever. Um, and yeah, I've just been into it ever since, man. I've been into it ever since then, like 2002, 2003. Used to follow the jump off,
Yeah.
freestyle battles. I used to go to this thing as well that Lee Scott used to go to called New Era, which was like a rap like community centre that was run by Tony Broke. Have you heard of Tony
Okay.
Broke? Yeah,
No, not
from
heard of him.
Yeah, Tony Broke. He's part of Cult of the Damned. He's part of the Blah
Yeah.
Records.
Sorry. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have heard of him. Sorry. Yeah.
he's like he. It could be said anyway that he's like one of the architects of like Blah Records and Cult of the Damned. He kind of taught a lot of them how to freestyle. They would do this thing at community centres. Tony Broke's job is to like, I think he still does this now. He goes to different community centres and teaches kids rap, freestyle, all this kind of stuff.
Sick. Sick.
It's fucking cool, man. I think he still
Yeah.
does it to a degree. I don't know whether he does or not. And I met him, met some of the. They weren't Blah Records then, but they later became Blah Records, like King Grub, Bill Shakes, Lee Scott. And yeah, man, just got into it from there, and just bit by bit, just did my own little bits of music here and there, and then let's say about 10 years later, I ended up running a studio in Lancashire. And then a few years after that, I started Killer Tapes, man. And here I am now,
Here you
talking to
are
you.
now.
Here I am.
And when did you first pick up the pen, man? When was that? When did that come into it?
Probably when I first learned about MCing, when I was listening to like house music. I went through a whole garage music phase as well, you know,
Yeah.
which was like unprecedented for people. I'm from Blackburn, so listening to garage in like the very northern mill town of Blackburn just wasn't a thing, man. Didn't know what garage was. I only heard about it because I went on holiday and I met these people that were from Essex or something. I don't know where they were from, but they were from the south. And I'm like, yo, listen. I was like 14. They were like, what are you listening to? And they were saying like, listen to garage, mate. What the fuck? You know, they thought that I was like this weird northern guy that had never heard of garage. And I kind of heard MCing properly for the first time there and liked it. You know, so
Mm.
I think I started to mess about there and started to write little rhymes and stuff. And I think I really got a bit more serious with it by the time I was about 19 when I heard Chester P and Jest and realised that rap music was something that had already been happening here for quite a while, you know, with like Brain Tax,
Mm.
the whole low
Low
life
life. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
thing, you know, the task force thing and all of that, and realised that, like, oh, American rap isn't the only rap. Actually, we do it here as well, you know. So yeah, probably about 18, 19 was when I first started to write the most terrible northern bars you can imagine, man.
And when did you start releasing music, man? Where did that come into it?
So probably the first time we took it seriously, I was in a crew called THC in Blackburn, and we were like, it's been described as like supermarket fame. So like we weren't like famous, but in Blackburn, like we had a name. You know, there's no doubt about it. You know, we had a name. There were thousands of people that would listen to our music. I formed a crew with 3 other lads. So there was me, a guy called MC Slippy, not to be confused with Slippy Skills, completely different. Called MC Slip. He's from the north. Done a lot of cool stuff. He's got an album coming out next year as well. That's got like MC Vapor on it. And anyway, so there was me, there was MC Slip, a guy called Critical C, and a guy called JG, and that was us 4. We were called THC, and we were a crew from Blackburn. And there wasn't really any rap crews in Blackburn. You know, Blackburn's a very like northern mill town. Like I said before, like bounce music, house music was very prevalent in the area. And because we were because we were the only rap hip hop crew doing it, like doing it proper as well, you know, real boom bap kind of hip hop. It just took off, man, and we just got a really good name for ourselves. So that was like 2006, 2007, and we then disbanded, for lack of a better word, probably around 2010, something like that. There's a few mixtapes that you can still listen to now on YouTube, man. There's one called Tags and Tour Rags by Blackburn THC.
Wicked. And was THC a thing to sort of weed, or is that, you know, cannabis?
Yeah,
or is that,
yeah. It was tight handcuffs. So it was initially it was obviously related to weed. But then as we went on, so when we first started it, I was like 20. And then as the time went on, I was like 23, 24. I've got kids at this point.
Yeah.
We're all kind of like, yo, we can't be calling this THC, you know, it's like all about weed, and we don't want to be about weed. So somebody came up with the idea of like, let's change the name to Tight Handcuffs. So the last mixtape that we did was called Tight Handcuffs, and we tried to move away from the kind of THC thing. But it's one of the things. Interestingly, I was talking to the guys from that used to be Blue City CDF that are now Plato's Maker.
Yeah.
I interviewed them from the magazine, and they were saying a similar thing, that when they started, they were called Blue City CDF because they were from Cardiff, Blue City, Cardiff, CDF, all of that. And then they wanted to you know, as they've grown up, they wanted to drift away from that. So they've had a name change, and they've called themselves Plato's Maker. I think you grow up out of it, but when you're very young, 18, 19, 20, 21, you get into hip hop, you're like, yo, we're from fucking Blackburn, we rep this town, and you're so like militant about it.
Yeah.
And you get a little older and you think like, maybe we should change the name to something a little bit more artistic than Blackburn THC. So
it
was cool. What we did at the time was so cool. And you know, we would be walking through town, and there'd be cars driving past and be playing our tunes and stuff, and we'd go into a bar, and the bar would play our tunes. People used to go to the gym, and the gym would be playing our music and stuff.
That's brilliant, man. That's wicked.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
wicked. I think a lot of people have had that transition when they've changed names. I think my name when I first started was Animal MC. And then that was due to fucking because I was just a bit of an animal.
You are still an animal.
No, mate, not compared to when I was back then. But you know the Muppet. Oh, I was a bit of a Muppet, but you know, you know the Muppet Babies. So you got the fucking animal, mate, on the drums. That's
what you're talking about. That's you.
That's where it came from. Yeah, that fucking crazy guy on the drums. Although I never played drums, that was the bit I didn't fucking unfortunately have. It was the crazy part that was thing too. But I was a drum and bass MC, man. That's where it all started from, and then transitioned into hip hop. But yeah. So obviously, you went obviously in that crew, and then where did it develop after that? Because I know you've got links to Seek and those guys as well. So how did you link up with those guys? When did that happen?
With No Authentic Records?
Yeah.
So I ran a studio for like 3 years in Lancashire, and this was a fully professional music studio. And I was like the studio manager of this
Mm.
place. So I wasn't an engineer there, but like the owner of the studio was the main engineer, and what they needed. I had a really corporate job, so I had like a long. How do I start this? I had a really long hiatus from music for like
Hmm.
7 years or something, and in that time, I've got to like 29, 30, and I've actually become quite a serious guy who, went and got a very corporate job in the corporate world and had a car on finance, and just didn't do anything with music at all. And then I left this really corporate job because it was fucking soulless. And
Yeah.
luckily, I'd been going to a studio to kind of try and get back into music. Went to the studio and then was like, yo, this is what I do. I do marketing for this massive company. And this guy was like, we need this. We need somebody to come and do this at the studio. So I did that for a couple of years and it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And then just through circumstances, he needed to move and relocate to Manchester, which was I just couldn't move. I couldn't do that. So
Yeah.
we kind of parted ways. And when we parted ways, I ended up doing some hip hop writing for a radio station in Manchester called MCR Live,
And was
which
that
was
for a magazine?
absolutely.
Was it, or
It was like an online magazine.
like a blog
Um,
thing? Was it, or
yeah, but
yeah,
they were like a radio station as well. So like they would have Children of Zeus on the show. They would have like it was really cool, man. It was only a short term thing, but it was so cool, and I kind of learned. I cut my teeth with that in how to write, and when I did Killer Tapes later on and would do the magazine, this is where I learned my own voice in how to write things like
yeah,
that. But then that stopped as well. So I'd gone from the studio, I'd gone to MCR Live, and then that had finished, and I was like, man, I'm a bit lost. I don't really know what to do. And I sing as well. I really love singing. I play the guitar. I will occasionally bust out the old, tune here and there.
amazing, man.
I put something online of me singing, and I'd never met Seek the Northerner before. Um, and he liked this thing that I'd done, and he was like, "Yo, you've got a really good singing voice. Oh my god, I would love for you to come and do some singing." So I went to his house in Burnley, and got to know Seek, did some singing with him, and like told him the history of what I told you, and just been talking about what I was doing. And he didn't know any of it because he just
Mm,
saw me as the singing guy because he'd just seen me on the internet as this guy that can sing.
yeah.
And he was like, "I've got this label, No Authentic Records. We've got like Amos, we've got Carlo, we've got this guy, we've got that guy. You've done marketing, you've worked in the studio, you've worked at a really corporate level in marketing. Like, what can you do?" And I was like, "Fucking do all sorts, man. I can do all kinds of shit."
Oh, I love you being so candid about it. I
I,
fucking do it all, mate.
I can fucking do it. I'll tell you what it is as well, man, right? I'll tell you straight. As this interview goes on, I've had a couple of scoops, right? This ain't going to be like a fucking normal interview that you've had before. As I get more progressively fucking drunk, the more I'm going to spill this fucking tea and big myself up and fucking chat some shit about what's been going on in this fucking thing. I'm going to be messy by the end of it. I'll be fucking getting my dick out by the end of this interview. I swear to God.
Well, welcome to the show because that's pretty much the fucking vibe that we have here anyway. There's been a few shows where we've got pretty yeah,
You've got your dick
pretty.
out. Right, let's
No, well, we
go.
haven't we haven't gone that far. We haven't quite got to that level yet, but who knows? It's
Well, we're
still
doing
early
it today.
days, man. It's still early
Today's the moment.
days. That's it. That's it.
Right, so anyway, I'm at Steke's house and he's like, "Yo, let's do this thing." And yeah, that was cool for a while as well, man. And then we came up with this cipher. We made this cipher called Cipher 53. We filmed that. That was really cool. Seek like pulled a few strings and got like For Life Cipher, Scorsese, all these people to like endorse this cipher. That was really cool.
Yeah, man.
And then we kind of parted ways as well, man. He basically did a track with Blade. He did a track with Blade and DJ Woody.
Yeah.
And the God's honest truth, I'm going to tell you the truth because I've had a few beers, so I don't give a fuck. The God's honest truth of it was, I kind of felt at the time, and I'm wrong for this. I'm just going to say it straight. I can put my hands up now and just say I was wrong. I was out of order. I used to smoke a lot of weed, and about 2 years ago, I stopped smoking weed and started drinking beer. Whee!
Yeah.
Now, drunk Craig is very happy and can have a nice time and doesn't get very sensitive. But stoned Craig gets very paranoid and
Yeah.
gets very, very sensitive and gets a bit touchy and a little bit like, yo, what are you trying to do there? So Seek did this track with Blade. Now, I didn't know of Blade really that much. I didn't really know. I didn't know I didn't understand the nuance of it, of what was happening at the time. And I thought that me and Seek the Northerner had kind of gone like 50-50 on this record label. What he knows, I should know.
Yeah.
Me and him are doing this thing together. We're like, we're going to take over the UK hip hop scene with No Authentic Records. We're going to fucking run this shit, man. And then he did this track with Blade and DJ Woody, and I didn't know anything about it. And it went out on 7-inch vinyl, which was the first time since I'd been involved with No Authentic Records that a record had come out. And he didn't tell me anything about it because I think in his mind, it was like a separate thing.
Yeah.
Because it's Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's now doing a track with Blade. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Blade's not signed to No Authentic Records. Blade isn't
Yeah.
on No Authentic Records. DJ Woody isn't on No Authentic Records. Seek the Northerner did a track with DJ Woody and Blade separate and did their own little thing. And it was called "Fuck the Fans," and it's a fucking good tune as well, man.
Yeah. I remember that track actually. To be
It's
fair,
a fucking
yeah.
good tune. The artwork for it is sick as fuck. And I was like, yo, why didn't I know about this track? So I got a bit sensitive. If he's watching, I'm going to send this link when this show comes out. I'm going to send this to Seek because I speak to him all the time now, man. And
I love Seek, man. Got a lot of time for him. He's actually been on here as well. His show will go out soon, but
he's a fucking lovely guy, mate.
I love him, man. Love him.
Guy, man. He knows a lot of shit as well, man. He takes the piss out of me. I take the piss out of him. We have such a good relationship. I'm going to be on a tune with him as well, man. We're going to do a tune together that's going to come out at some point soon. So yeah. Anyway, so that kind of ended, and you know, I didn't speak to him again for like a year and a half. And actually, you could say that Killer Tapes started as a result of me kind of not working with Seek anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I found myself kind of lost. Like, what do I do now? I've fucked myself up with No Authentic Records. I fell out with him. I fucking blocked him on Facebook. I'm not talking to them cunts anymore. Fuck you, Seek. And I kind of found myself lost. And then there was like another, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, and I was like, let's start a podcast and do this thing, and came up with this concept of Killer Tapes. So you could say really that Killer Tapes, that No Authentic Records was a precursor for Killer Tapes, man. There wouldn't be a Killer Tape without No Authentic Records, for sure.
And this is a perfect little segue into the Killer Tapes brand and everything as well, man. So, yeah, so obviously you started Killer Tapes, what was it? You said 4 years ago. What were we saying? 2020? Was it through COVID sort of time, right?
Yeah, exactly that, man. So I actually started it the December before COVID, so it was 2009. No, that's wrong.
19 it would have been. No, yeah, 2019 it would have been, yeah.
It was 2020, man. Sorry, it was.
Oh, yeah.
So it was December 2020.
And where did the concept Killer Tapes come from? Where did that name come from, and how did you come up with that?
So there was actually a very early incarnation of Killer Tapes, which so when I had that hiatus that I talked about before, just before I kind of stopped music for a while and then went into like the corporate world and didn't do anything musically, like as that kind of happened, the reason for that was I did a show in Blackburn with Bill Shakes in 2011, and I met somebody at this gig. This might sound really wanky, man. I swear to God, this gonna say I fell in love. I met my love of my life at this gig. So I did a show for Bill Shakes in 2011, and Bill Shakes hadn't done that many shows in Blackburn, even though he's from Blackburn. Bill Shakes is from Cult of the Damned. He's from Blah Records. He's well known in Liverpool, Manchester, London. He's done gigs all over the fucking place. But in Blackburn, he didn't. He does now, but in Blackburn, he didn't always have a name, you know. Whereas I did, and our crew, Blackburn THC, did. So I wanted to fucking change that shit straight away, because he is like for me anyway, in my opinion, I think Bill Shakes is one of the fucking best, man. He uses his Blackburn accent. He uses his northernness as like a satire and a parody on itself. His flow is immaculate. His ability to use multis is absolutely stunning. He's an amazing rapper, man. But in Blackburn, there just wasn't a knowledge of this guy. So anyway, I did this gig with Bill Shakes in Blackburn, and then I met somebody there that I would later be engaged to, and we fell in love, and I lived with her for 4 years, man. But as part of doing that, I kind of realized a few things, like even I love rap. I love rapping. Yeah, I love making music. I really enjoy it. Am I the best? No. Is it like, do I have the best rap voice in the world? No. And I didn't know then that maybe later in time I would do something like Killer Tapes, where I find my own lane, which is like writing magazines, presenting radio shows, that kind of thing, which I actually, to be honest, enjoy more than writing raps and making music. I really do, man. I loved doing the shows of Killer Tapes, but I didn't know that then because I hadn't made it. So it was like 2011, and I put this like show together. Like I used a DAW, I used Cubase or something, and I got a lot of tracks from people from Blackburn, like Bill Shakes and MC Slippy, and these people that were all from Blackburn. And I put this set together, and there's no talking on it. There's no like me chatting in between the songs. It's just this playlist basically. And I called it the Killer Tapes Show, and I put it on Mixcloud, and that was 2011, and then forgot about it. So then you fast forward to like 2020, I've just left No Authentic Records. Before that, I've left this studio, and I'm kind of lost, and I don't know what to do. And I'm having an idea of like, maybe I should make a podcast. I don't know. What should I do? And the first name that came to mind was like, oh shit, you made that thing back in the day, 10 years ago, called Killer Tapes. That's a good name. Run with that. And then just the whole thing came to me, like the color scheme of it, using the tape as the logo. Killer Tapes is obviously from, as you know, it's from Raekwon's skit on 36 Chambers. Like, oh, hey, yo, Meth, where's my Killer Tape at? So I know that it's like a name that people that know about boom bap and know about this style of music that like we're into will get the reference to. Yeah, man, I got that name from that one show and then kind of ran with it. But I knew that I had to make it about the whole UK hip hop scene as opposed to just some local Blackburn kind of thing. But yeah, it was just like a bit of fun at first. I didn't take it too seriously, man. I didn't anticipate that it would. And I'm not going to say like it blew up and became this like massive viral thing, but I think in the UK hip hop scene, it definitely developed a name for itself. But I didn't intend for that to happen. I just wanted to just do something. I wanted to have something that I could just play with and just have a bit of fun with, and just put out and see where it goes, kind of thing. So that's how it started.
That's a good place to start, man. It's a similar thing to what we're doing, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're starting it because you want to do it, because you love it and you love the music, you love the culture, you want to give back, you want to help other artists, bring shine on them, especially when you've been in it for as long as you have, and obviously I've been in it for quite some time as well. So I think I don't know. I think as an artist, when you've been doing sort of I suppose one way of expressing yourself through this art of hip hop, you kind of start getting hungry for other ways of trying to express it and trying to you start realizing, then you start obviously falling in love with the culture, and you start thinking, you know what, I want to start giving back to this, like it's given me so much. I want to start helping other people. And as time goes on and age goes on, you start becoming more mature about things, and you're not all about yourself anymore. It's not all about you having the limelight, and you want to start sharing that and trying to help other people. And
I used to say to people quite often, man, especially when I was like, because just before Killer Tapes kind of closed its digital doors to the world, it was getting like inundated with fucking messages, man. I was probably speaking to like 50 to 100 people a day, man. It was getting crazy. But something that I would say to people quite often was, we can't all be the lead singer of the band. We can't all be the capo or whatever, or the Chester P or whatever, that's not to discredit people that, like, you're a brilliant rapper, man, and I know that you are a
Thank
good
you.
musician, bro. And that's not to discredit what you do at all. But I just think, there has to be, especially now, there has to be more people that are willing, like you just said, though, give back to the culture, mature a little bit, and realize, like, hang on a minute, I can make something here that platforms people that are absolutely exquisite at this shit.
Mm,
Jazz T, Farmer G, Capo, the people that you've already had on the show are absolute amazing. Like, they're amazing, and because we don't have infrastructure in UK hip hop in the same way that, like, the grime industry does, the jungle industry, house music, indie music, pop music.
hmm
For whatever reason, without getting into the debate of it, there isn't any money in UK hip hop. There isn't any infrastructure in UK hip hop. There isn't actually a UK hip hop industry. Whether we like it or not, it fucking doesn't exist, man.
mm,
It doesn't. Record labels won't touch it, probably because of the content that people are talking about.
yeah.
Whatever. Radios won't fucking play it. It ain't getting played. You've got your one extras and you've got your Charlie Sloths and you've got your, all of that. But, like, the only tangible, real world outlet that I'm aware of that will play real boom bap hardcore shit is DJ Sammy B-side and Boomtown. I don't
Mm,
know anywhere else in the UK that will play this shit. So people like you doing this, and Killer Tapes, and Sammy J, and Blade, Fat P UK, Itch FM, whatever, JD Hip Hop Review, these guys are so, like, they're more important than I think anybody realizes, man. And the parallels between what you're doing now, and I'm not, like, kissing your ass, mate, but the parallels between what you're doing now and where it is now, it's a baby. You've only done, what have you done, 10 episodes or something?
mate,
Five?
it's only 3 months. Well, March we
It,
started, so April, May, June, July, 4 months, man. 4 months.
it's, a,
Yeah, baby,
it's
baby stages at the moment.
my bambino. It's a little baby, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Give it a year, give it 12 months, give it 2 years, and I just think it will just exponentially grow, and you'll feel a traction point. You'll feel a point where, like, after about a year, maybe 2 years, you'll think, fuck, I'm putting a post out and this post is getting like 50 likes, 100 likes, 200 likes, whatever. And even though that shouldn't be a measure of success, we do live in a world where you can measure success through that metric if you need to.
Mm,
I think it's important, man. I think it's important. Like, I talked to Blade. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but I do speak to Blade quite often. And Blade is somebody that has had such success. He's been on top of the pops. Like, he's literally been on top of the pops.
mm,
He's toured with Eminem. He's been on the Trevor Nelson's show. He's fucking massive, man. And even he says the same thing. The UK hip hop is on its fucking ass. There is no money in it. There's no infrastructure with it. And he will be the same as you. He will, at some point, it might take 5 years, it might take 10 years. Who gives a fuck? There will be a traction point where it just goes zoop and it
hmm
just flips, and the audience just kicks into it. So yeah, man, I really respect what you're doing, big
Thank you,
time.
bro. It is
I like
time and persistence, bro. That's what it is.
it.
And
It's
I think
consistent, you know?
another thing that you can't overlook is that, primarily hip hop was an American thing. What
Yeah,
we obviously doing it as the UK thing. Obviously, we've got our own sound and stuff, but I think that's why there could be a factor involved where maybe there isn't as much people being drawn to it because it's kind of like, oh, these guys are just copying what the Americans have done and just adding their own UK twist to it or whatever. And I think because grime is much more new, it's more of that UK thing. I think that's why people are maybe warming to it. And obviously the industries have jumped on it because they can see there's money involved, and that obviously we don't need to get into the politics of that, but you're absolutely right. I just don't think there's enough platforms that are championing UK hip hop, and there are just so many, not only amazing rappers, artists, but just people who are so actively involved in the culture that don't get
I think it's about
recognition,
the
and I think it's a
content, man.
shame.
I think it's about the content. I genuinely think it's about the content. I think I've spoke to Capo about this. I spoke to Farm G about this. I spoke to a lot of people. I think it's a very intellectual, spiritual, conceptual form of music, man.
Hmm
And I just
hmm
think over the past 20 years, 30 years, without sounding like a conspiracy theorist, I just think that people have been dumbed down to expect nursery rhymes, to expect,
Exactly.
sexualized content, to expect violent content, and UK hip hop ain't that. UK hip hop is trying to say something, man. And
Exactly.
record labels don't want it. Record labels want to make money. They want to sell sex.
And there's another thing. There's agendas going on, man. Music is a very powerful tool. It can be used for good, and unfortunately, it can be used for evil. And for I know I don't want to get all like evil, like like fucking Bond villain or whatever.
Mr.
But
Burns.
yeah, let's not beat around the bush. You know, music is used as a tool of control, manipulation. You know, trying to get out certain. So it's a powerful medium, man. People don't realize, you know, sound is a
from fucking Glastonbury. What's he called? What's the band called? Bob Villain.
Yeah.
All this fucking shit that's happened recently, man. He says one sentence and he's like blackballed. It's all over the fucking news. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we're getting into it now, K-Saulz. Come on, we're into it now.
Yes, obviously, without getting in too deep with all this, as I said, the sort of politics and things, man, we don't need to go there. But we obviously talked about the influence of, you know, what we're trying to do and what you were doing, obviously, with Killer Tapes. So let's obviously talk about that. So obviously, you started Killer Tapes.
Listen, do you like my shades? Do you like my shades?
I love your shades, mate. I love your shades.
I told you I'm going to Kanye West this shit, man. I'm going to spoil the continuity of your fucking edit. I don't give a fuck what you're saying.
It's all good. It's all good. He's trying to sabotage my shit, man. Just because you ain't got Killer Tapes running anymore, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go on there and just fuck everything up for K-Saulz.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Sorry, go on. You fucking good. You are good. You good.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, obviously, Killer Tape started. Was your plans obviously, just as you said yourself, it was just to have a bit of fun. You wanted to, you know, because you love doing this, and you wanted to kind of probably for the similar reasons why we started it. Did you always have in mind that you wanted to make it into a magazine as well? Was it just strictly podcast?
No, not at all, man. No. Oh man, it was a real afterthought completely. So I mentioned earlier MC Slippy, not to be confused with Slippy Skills.
Yeah.
MC Slip, he's like been a long time music compadre. I think this is quite a common thread as well with musicians. Like, I know that Seek the Northerner and Carlo are very much like music partners. I don't know if you mentioned somebody earlier on that like you've worked with this guy for a long time. You know, you find somebody from your hometown, and you kind of become, I don't know if this is the same for everybody or what, but like me and MC Slip have been like music brothers since 2006, 2005, maybe even, I don't know, a long time. I've known the guy for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've left No Authentic Records, I've left MCR Live, and I'm toying with this idea of this podcast, and I'm speaking to Slip, you know, Danny, one of my best friends. And I'm saying like, oh, yeah, I might do this thing, man. You know, I've come up with this thing, and he goes, do it, Grimee, do it. You know, this is going to be really good for the scene. You know, do it. You know, you don't know what doors it could open. So I started the podcast, and then just went through the motions, man. You know, like kind of like what I would imagine you're doing now. You know, you're making this content. You don't quite see the end result of where it's going, but you fucking know it's going somewhere. A little bit like driving down a motorway when it's really dark and you can see the cat's eyes. You can see the road in front of you, and you know that it's taking you somewhere, but you can't quite see exactly where it's taking you. And it was a bit like that. And then
that's part of the joy, though. That's part of the joy. I think what people get too caught up on sometimes, and sorry to interrupt you and interject there, but I think what people get caught up on is the end result. Whereas exactly. It's all about the journey, and sometimes you don't know like how you're going to get to where you go. Like, I've got a vision in my mind what I want this to be, but all the other stuff in between, I'm not planning it. It's just all organic and just see how it goes. But as long as you know you're like something in my heart, my compass, like you've got this internal compass, I feel.
Yeah.
You know when you're facing north, I suppose. Let's say you're facing you know you're on the right track. You don't know how you're going to get there. You know where you want to be, but you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know what the journey is going to be. And that is the joy of it. And I think people get too caught up on the end result, and then you're missing out on all the joys of what the journey is, which is what it's all
No,
about.
exactly.
Anyway, sorry to
No,
interrupt you.
no,
Carry on.
and no, honestly, man, no, that's exactly the point. That's what you just said is exactly the point. Like, you think that you're going to get somewhere. I think if you think that you're going to, if you've got this like end point in mind, you're going to miss this whole road that you're going down. And if you'd have said to me like in 2020, 2021, like, do you think you'll start a magazine? Do you think you'll sell merch? Do you think you'll have a website? Like, I would have been like, no. And then after about a year, I can't even remember how I had the idea of doing the magazine. I don't know if it was somebody that said, you know, like a friend of mine that was talking to me. Somebody with, I think what it was is that somebody that isn't even a musical friend was saying like, do you miss MCR Live? So I used to do this thing with this MCR Live. I mentioned it earlier. That was a radio station from Manchester. And also when I worked for this really corporate company that I mentioned earlier on as well, we used to do this internal comms messaging magazine. So the first time that I had ever been introduced to the idea of like making a magazine that can become an asset for your marketing without sounding too wanky was when I worked in this corporate environment. Now, the reason that they made a magazine, because I used to write this magazine for this company that I used to work for, this corporate magazine. This was an employee-only magazine.
Yeah.
And it was basically to reinterpret what the board of directors was trying to say in the board meetings.
But it was too boring. Hence why board music meeting.
It was too politically incorrect. So in these board meetings, when you've got a company that has got a staff of more than 1,000, it's illegal to have a private board meeting. I don't know if you know that, but you have to have what's called an EBM, an executive board meeting, and that has to be publicly announced to the staff. So if you've got more than 1,000 employees, you have to have fucking cameras and microphones in the board meetings of these fucking places so that the staff can hear what you're saying. It's crazy, man. So what we would have to do, it sounds so bad, what we would have to do as a marketing department is kind of rebrand that content that the board was saying. Let's say they were talking about redundancies. You know, redundancies are fucking shit. We, as a marketing department and a communications department, we had to rebrand that to make it sound like it was something good.
Yeah.
So I learned how to cut. I cut my teeth in making a magazine that was an asset for the company that I was working for. So later on, when I'm doing killer tapes, somebody that I think it was a friend that I've got called Nina, and she was saying like, "Why don't you make a magazine for this killer tapes thing that you're doing? You know, and it'll be like a marketing asset, like we used to do at Ainscow." And I was like, "Yo, that's a fucking sick idea." Because I was aware that like Wordplay magazine used to be an actual tangible magazine. You know, you've got the Wire magazine that is probably the only magazine that mentions UK hip hop occasionally. It's not a UK hip hop magazine, but it mentions, like, they'll talk about Capo, Sonny Jim, whatever, but it's like a music magazine that talks about other types of music as well. There aren't any UK hip hop publications. There used to be the Hip Hop Connection. There used to be loads, man. There used to be like quite a few, you know. So I was aware that there was a gap, and it was a friend that kind of suggested it, and I was like, "That's crazy! I'd never thought of doing that at all." And when I made the first magazine, you know, I interviewed Jay Reid and Formal Brown, as he was known then. He's now called Bro Shinto, from Bar Picasso. I interviewed who else did I interview? Configure. I interviewed these people, and I said to them, this is before the magazine existed, like, "Can I interview you for this thing? But I don't think I'm actually going to do it." So imagine somebody comes to you and says, like, "Can I interview you for a magazine? But I don't think I'm going to do the magazine." Like, yeah, all right, cool. I'll do the interview with you. So like these people that were in the first magazine were so open and, you know, like very cool about it. And the front cover of the first magazine was Gold on the Mixer. So I interviewed Zatoichi's Ears, if you've heard of him, from Gold on the Mixer.
Yeah.
And they're on the front cover, like Amos, Zatoichi's Ears, or Zatoichi's Ears. What's he called? What's the other guy called? Can't remember his name now. But all of these people were basically being interviewed on the premise of like, I might not do this thing. I don't know if this is going to be a bit wanky or a bit like, because UK hip hop is very, uh,
Niche.
yeah, it's so niche and there's almost like a tongue in cheek element to it. And there's almost like, it's such an intellectual thing, man. It's such an intellectual thing. Like, it's not grime, it's not pop, it's not like obvious. It's actually quite under the radar and very subtle, and it's not bait. You can't bait this shit out. You've got to do this in a very it's a proper thinking man's game or thinking woman's game. You can't come to UK hip hop with this like bullshit. You've got to really be able to use your fucking noggin for UK hip hop. It's a very intellectual arena. So I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and I thought like, I'm going to make a magazine. Is this going to flop? Am I going to do this? Am I going to put this out on the Instagram? Like, it's just starting to get traction. I'm just starting to get to a level where like 30, 40 people like the posts, on the Instagram when I do a show. Like, is this going to kill it? I don't know. I was nervous, man. I was
Yeah.
shitting myself. Honestly. Did the first post for the first magazine, did a video where I basically was like, yo, check this out. And it sold like 300 copies in the first month, man. Like
Amazing.
the post that I did for the Instagram got like 200, 300 likes. I'd never done that before. I was
Yeah.
getting like 50 messages, 100 messages like, yo, I need a magazine. Where do I get this magazine? Like, how do I
Yeah.
buy this magazine? It blew up, man, like overnight, like that. It was fucking cool, man. Really, really cool. But no, it wasn't contrived. It wasn't something that I planned
Yeah.
beforehand or anything like that. It was just off the cuff, kind of like, should I do this? I don't know. I'm a bit nervous. Did it, and I was like, fucking right. This works, man. People love this shit
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
market. There's a gap for it,
100%, man. 100%. And obviously, Killer Tapes, it, became a staple. A lot of people, obviously, relied on it, man. It relied on it. What did you do to us? So let's. No, I'm only
Fucking,
joking. I'm only joking.
fucking
I'm only
right. I
joking.
don't fucking care.
But let's have a
I'm
conversation
up on
about that.
I'm on my yacht now. I've made all my fucking money from you guys, and then I'm like sharing my fucking yacht
Yeah,
in Barbados. I don't give a fuck. I bought a
exactly.
hotel in India like brain tax. I don't give a fuck about you guys, man.
Exactly. And those shades you were wearing were actually Kanye's. That's where it got
I
to.
thought you guys Kanye West. Kanye West said to me before the interview, he said, "Listen, wear these glasses."
There you go, bruv. There you go. So let's obviously talk about that. I think this is what a lot of people are going to probably be tuning in to listen to this episode, is to understand obviously what happened with Killer Tapes, why it went the way it went. I've obviously got some questions myself as well, but I'm going to obviously let you, just give us the rundown, man. What actually happened leading up to you obviously just, shutting it all down, man. And it wasn't just a shutdown where you just stopped doing it. It's literally, it's gone. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why that happened, and then obviously I've got a few questions to ask anyway after that. But yeah,
You So I think the easiest way to answer it is for me to be perfectly honest with like who I am, and this is not me being some kind of like I don't know, trying to make myself out to be some kind of fucking hard man or gangster or anything like that because I'm not. But like I don't know, I don't want to sound like a wanker, but where I'm from, there is a level that when you're confronted by people, there is a certain reaction that I was brought up to. How do I say this, man? If people are coming at me, there is an old school kind of mindset where I come from of like instant confrontation. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Don't fucking talk to me like that. And you can't do that. Like, you'll know now, I don't know if you have, and I might be being very assumptive, but you may have already, in just the 10, 12, 15, whatever episodes you've done, upset somebody or had some vague sort of conflict with somebody where somebody has had an expectation of you where they thought they were going to be on the show. or they wanted to be on the show and you perhaps haven't responded to that, and they've come back to you with this like instantly combative, expectation of what they think they should have from you. And I think when that first used to happen, when I was just doing radio shows and people was like, "Oh, you said you were going to play me on the show on Thursday, man." That was fine. It was totally fine. But when you've got a magazine, I don't know what it is, man, but something magical happens with the written word, where people just went crazy for it, man. Like I'm not exaggerating. I have no need to exaggerate how kind of one day it was like this. I did the magazine, and then the next day it was fucking different, man. It was like I had maybe 5 or 6 messages in the inbox on Instagram and Facebook. One day did the magazine, I've got 50 or 60, and it just didn't stop for the next 3 years of doing the magazine. And I think, unfortunately, for whatever reason, why ever this is the case, I don't know, UK hip hop is absolutely proliferated with very, very sensitive men, very sensitive people and predominantly men. In fact, the women that I dealt with in the scene were probably the most chilled out. The people that I dealt with that were the most sensitive, the most emotional, the most bitchy, the ones that would go away and slag you off in groups, and you would see these like comment threads. We're all dudes, man. And where I'm from, like, it just ain't like that. Like, I'm just not used to that. I haven't been brought up like that. It's a very Blackburn, for whatever other parts of the town, other parts of the country understand about Blackburn, whether they think it's just some like weird northern mill town or whatever. It's a very rough environment. It's a very aggressive, head to head. You've got a fucking problem. Let's go and fucking sort it out outside. It's a very aggressive, violent place, man. And I would never condone violence. I'm not saying that I'm going to go and fucking fight people or whatever. I'm not some big fighter. But when I've got somebody in front of me on a message and they're going like, "Why didn't you put me in the magazine? You said you were going to be in the magazine," and it becomes this like combative thing. It became an everyday problem. So that was one thing. The Killer Bars competition was a very, very similar environment, a very similar situation. When people in the UK hip hop scene didn't feel as though they were getting the I don't know, their space or the 15 minutes of fame or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They became very emotional, very sensitive, and very combative in the DMs on Instagram and Facebook and emails as well. To the point where it would be like, take my video down. I didn't realize that it would be like this. I thought that I was going to win this competition. I want you to remove my. I just had to deal with a lot of very, very sensitive, emotional guys.
Drama, basically.
Yeah, a lot of drama, man. A lot of drama. Where because you've got a platform, I can't sort of go like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" Like, I'll fucking come and see it. I can't do that. Like, and I would, even though I wouldn't want to do that because I'm not that guy. Like, it got my back right up. So I would have to be very diplomatic, and I would have to be like, "I'm really sorry that you feel like that. It's just a competition. Try again next year when we run the competition again and see how you get on." And then they come back with like, "Listen, fuck you, yeah, fuck you, Killer Tapes. I fucking," and you're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? Why are you getting so upset? Why are you getting so emotional about it?" So that was that. The magazine was the same. It's interesting as well because I was talking to a guy called Conscious Root yesterday. He's called Roland, and I speak to him
Yeah. He sends us track, man. Yeah, he sends us track and stuff, man. Yeah.
He's a wise old boy as well. He knows the score, and he does a lot of different types of music. He's not I wouldn't call him a hip hop rapper. He does grime, trap, whatever. He's a very professional guy as well. Lives up in Scotland. Does like forms of martial arts. He's a mental health practitioner. He's not a fool at all. And even me and him at some point had like a back and forth about the magazine. He got a bit upset that he wasn't in the magazine. It's like, I don't know, man. There's just something that happened with the magazine that just made people go fucking batshit crazy. So there was that. That was one thing. the rap competition, the killer bars competition was another thing where people got very, very emotional about the killer bars competition. I'm not going to name any names, even though I've had a couple of beers and I feel like naming some names. I feel like dropping some fucking names in there. I can't be bothered with the fucking drama.
Nah, we don't. You don't need to do that if you don't feel
We don't
comfortable
need to
doing
do
so. It's
that.
all good.
Maybe in 2 pints time, I might do that if it happens again. After later on. But you know, there were definitely people during the killer bars competition that we did, which was like, for anybody who's watching who doesn't know what the killer bars competition was, we did it 3 times. It was an 3 times, 4 times. It was an annual competition, similar to the wordplay competition and the Shotgun the Orcs rap competition. In fact, actually, I know that the Shotgun the Orcs rap competition was a similar kind of thing where people were really kicking off about the results of this thing and it's a fix, and you know, putting comments in all the videos and saying like, this is fucking bullshit, man, this is like a total fix, and like, you can't do right for doing wrong. Shotgun the Orcs made no money from doing this, spent lots of time making this rap competition happen just for the culture. Wordplay magazine, I don't think there's any way that you could make any money from orchestrating these rap competitions where people submit videos. And Killer Tapes did a similar thing where we did the Killer Bars competition, and just the drama that came along with it was just like, I ain't about this, man. This is not what I didn't. This at the start of Killer Tapes, it was fun. This is like, no, this is like drama. I'm like worried about it. You know, I'm like, I don't smoke weed anymore, but I like have a spliff and getting like fucking nervous, getting heart palpitations about people getting upset about this thing. You know, and then that happened, and then I got Kelvin more and more. You know, Kelvin Staples. Fucking big up Kelvin Staples, man. That
Yeah,
guy's a
big up
fucking
Kelvin, man.
big up Kelvin. He's a UK hip hop fucking soldier, man. I swear to God, he's put more money into UK hip hop than he's put into his own kids and his wife. she's like 2 seconds away from divorcing that motherfucker. Like, he ain't paying his mortgage, but he'll buy your record. I swear to God, the guy's not right. He's honestly, I love Kelvin so much, man. He's become one of my best friends. He's such a lovely, lovely guy, and you know, he's like now at the stage where he's helping me out and he's doing all these different things with Killer Tapes and everything. And even though that was happening and he was doing shows and then took on the main show, I felt like I was passing on more and more to him. And I just fell out of love with it, man. I fell out of love with it because of how tainted I was by how emotional these guys were being. I thought we were all on the same page. I thought that the people that were involved, that took part in the competition, that bought the magazine, that wanted to be in the magazine, I thought there was like a mutual understanding with all of us, like there is with you, like there is with Kelvin. And maybe I was naive to it, man, and didn't realize the depth of how intense, you know, a good bunch of people could be about, you know, not being as involved as perhaps they wanted to be. And it just tainted it and just killed it. It killed it for me. And because I was the only guy that was kind of steering it and the brains behind it and making it happen, like you know, before we recorded this show, you know, you was talking about like you building a team. I don't know if this is like breaking the fourth wall or
No,
whatever.
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
You have a team of people that you build, that you're bringing into it. And my advice, without being condescending, my advice for what it's worth would be make sure that that team of people is people that you know really well, man. That you can trust, that you've known since back in the day. That
Yeah, I wouldn't get people involved otherwise, man. But I wouldn't.
exactly, and maybe that's where I went wrong. You know, I was getting people involved that had their own kind of agenda, apart from Kelvin, and yeah, it just took its own kind of direction where on a regular basis, I was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to? I'll come and fucking find you. I'll come and fucking find you. Let's fucking sort it out."
And the
And I
mad
never
thing
did
is,
that.
man, sorry again to interrupt you, but this is all for fun. Like what you were doing was you were doing people a favor. Like you were giving them a platform for them to go and to spit in front of lots of people, because obviously lots of people would be watching the competition anyway. So even
Mhm.
if you didn't win, like I felt being a winner, just being involved, man, because
Yeah, man.
there was a platform where you could be seen by lots of other people. Not only that, but it helped you maybe connect with other artists that may have not been aware of you, and then
Well,
collaborations could.
look at the three winners that we had. The three winners that we had of the competitions. Has been 617. Has
Yeah.
been 617 has been doing bits for fucking ever. He put on the gig with me with Verb T. He is such an influence. Has been 617 is part of the Heavy Links crew from Nottingham and what the fuck's the place called? Not Leicester. Oh, what the fuck are they called, man? He is such a good rapper, and he knows there is. If you was to speak to Habitat 617, there is nothing that you're going to speak to him about that he doesn't know. But he always happens to be one of the best fucking rappers in the UK. So he won the first one, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. And I had beef about that. You shouldn't have fucking won that guy. Like, how am I was better than him? Like, listen, he won it. That guy won it. Trust me, he fucking won it. The second guy that won it was Ill Sykes, who for me, I don't care what
one of the
anybody
best
says.
fucking UK rappers, in my opinion, right now, man.
One of the best rappers in the world, man. Ill Sykes is one of the best rappers ever. I don't care what anybody says. I know he likes
Yeah, I
to
can't
sing,
argue with that.
and he has a bit of a sing song and all that, and I like his singing voice. But when it comes to rapping, he is like, even Chester P said it on Blade's channel.
I know, man.
Chester
I know.
Chester P is there going like, I fucking wish I could rap like that. Chester P is saying, I wish I could rap like this fucking guy. He is fucking phenomenal.
He is, mate. He is.
Some has been again is one of the fucking dirtiest fucking rappers that I have heard in UK hip hop. He's also a fucking very good looking guy. He's also young as fuck. He's like 21, 22 or something, and raps like he should be on fucking Sway in fucking America. He's fucking sick. So for people to come back to me and be like, "Oh, it's a fucking fix. It shouldn't be like that." Fuck off. The guy was sick.
It's a bit disrespectful, I think, as well, man, to your peers. Like, as I said, this is all supposed to be fun, man. Like, at what point did it get to the point where egos have to come into it? You know, if hip hop is one thing we're trying to move away from, is all about being real. It's about, you know, saying what you got to say, expressing yourself in the way that you want to express.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing I was saying before, man. It's because there's no infrastructure. So let's say, for example, there was so like Hot 97. Let's say there was a radio station that did promote and broadcast exclusively UK boom bap hip hop, right? And that was on an FM station that was being broadcast to 100,000 people, and that the people that ran that radio station had exclusivity over who they played and when they played them. Now, let's say that there was a magazine, Killer Tunes, Wordplay, whatever the fuck, that was being sold to 10,000 people, 50,000 people, 100,000 people a month, that only exclusively played boom bap hip hop. These things are, let's say that Blade's channel 521 and his roadshow blows up to the point where they're happening every single month in towns all over the fucking country, and these are attracting thousands of people every time. That is infrastructure. That is a system, and that system would eventually become impenetrable, where there is like a league that you've got to like attain to. You've got to try and get to that level. There would be no bitchiness and no conversation around it. You're either good enough to get in there or you're not. And if you're not, you have to work on your shit. You have to work on your craft. Because there's none of that, because there's no... I mean, what Blade is doing, you know, fucking hats off to the guy, man. He has tried his hardest, and he's putting blood, sweat and tears into everything that he does. Traveling so many miles all over the country to do this shit. And it will get there. What you're doing will get there. Possibly in the future, I might do something else, you know, and make another magazine or make another fucking outlet. I don't know. But there needs to be infrastructure that has got a certain prestige, that have got a certain level to it, where it's just obvious, man. Like the Premier League of football. You know, there's no debate around whether or not you're a good enough team. You're either good enough or you're not. And because there isn't any infrastructure, it's like every man for himself and go, well, I should be there and I should be there. And it's basically that, man. It's because there's no actual structure to this shit. Everyone thinks that they should just be at the top. Like the people that have only just started, they've been rapping for 2 months. You know, they've just bought the first microphone or whatever, and they've learned how to use multi-syllables. and record themselves once to a tune. Like, well, I think I should have won that competition.
But
It's
also,
fucking mental.
it's a subjective thing as well, man. Like, how it's not easy when you've got I don't know how many rappers used to enter into the competition, but when you've got say 30, 40 rappers, and you've got 10 that are easily the best, like compared to all the others, just for example, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's going to be really difficult for you to pick out of those 10 when all of them are really fucking sick who's going to be the winner. There's going to have to be a winner.
yeah.
And people have to understand that it's not like
Which is
like
why
for
I had people that were judges. I had judges that were doing this. I
well,
had judges that
exactly. So you can't get. I mean, again, it's just strange to me, man. Again, maybe I'm not of that mind of thinking, and I can't put myself in that sort of mindset where I would be like, oh fucking hell, like fuck, lost that fucking kid. Well, I'm gonna speak to Craig, like fucking hell, can't believe I didn't win. Like I can't bring myself into that mindset where I
no,
would even think that because I'm
no,
just it's all fun. It's all let's get involved in something. Nobody else is doing it. You're getting to
exactly.
see other sick rappers. You're getting to be involved in something that is fun. It tests you. It puts you to your it's that's what it
Exactly,
should
man.
be. It's like anything else. It's like anything else you enter into that would be
Good
considered
community
a
as well. At the end of
competition.
the
If you were
It's
playing
supposed to
bingo,
be.
yeah. If you were playing bingo, yeah, and, and you fucking and you fucking won bingo, yeah. It's the equivalent of all the other people saying, well,
I should
fuck
have
it.
fucking won that
Yeah,
live.
I nearly had the numbers.
I had
That's
a
not.
house.
Yeah,
I had a
exactly,
fucking full house, you motherfucker.
exactly. It's that equivalent, and people don't see how fucking. To me, that seems childish, man. I'm sorry to anybody who may be offended by what I'm saying, who may have been one of those people that kicked up a fuss.
No, there
It's
was, there
childish,
was.
mate. It's
Listen, I'm a full time dad, right? I'm a
it's
full time
playground
single
shit,
dad.
bruv. It's playground stuff. It's stuff as
And
if
my
when you're at
daughter,
school.
I live with my daughter full time, right? So she doesn't live with her mum, she lives with me, yeah?
Mm.
And she's lived with me since she was 10 years old. She is more mature and can handle things better than some of the fucking grown ass men that I had coming to me on a daily basis. It was like I had 30, 40, 50 kids that I had to deal with and pander to. And sort
Mm.
of go like, oh, well, never mind, mate, maybe next time. So yeah, so that was basically why I had to knock it on the head, and there was a what I don't want to happen. I don't want there to be any. I don't want people to get it twisted and think that there was one group of people or one crew that upset me,
Mm.
that made me, the haters. There's another, and
Mm.
I know that there are people that think that I've let the haters get to me and that I've stopped it. It weren't like that, man. There was
It was
like
the
an accumulation.
situation. It was the situation
It
in
was
over
it
a
was, it
period of
was a
time.
myriad of things over
Yeah.
6 months that have made me think, I fucking can't be arsed doing this. So I have since got into something else. Have you heard of Nuke Fam Records?
Yeah.
You know Nuke Fam, yeah?
I've heard of
So
a man. Yeah.
I'm gonna be involved with Nuke Fam. I'm gonna be like,
Oh, dope,
I'm gonna,
man.
yeah, man. They've asked me to be involved with them. I've got an album coming out next year, with a friend of mine, with MC Slip, who I talked about.
Yeah.
But they're gonna drop that album for me next year, and I'm gonna work with them on, like, I can't talk about the album that's gonna come out at the end of the year. I can't even talk about who the artist is. Like, I can't talk about it, man. And I'm a bit pissed now, and I really want to talk about it.
No,
um,
keep it hush hush, mate. Keep it
I have to,
a
man. I have to. I
surprise.
have to. But yeah, so I'm going to be working with Nuke Fam Records, and that's going to allow me to be able to do some of the things that I like to do, like writing the back end stuff, man, without
Mm.
being the front facing, guy. So yeah, so that's, long story short, that's what it was. That's basically what happened with Killer Tapes. You got some questions anyway about Killer Tapes, you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
so obviously, I did say I've got some questions for you, so I'm gonna hit you with some questions here. So
All right. Wait a sec. Hang on.
obviously,
Wait.
I've listened
Hang
to
on. Hang on.
obviously. Okay, let's get serious now, right?
Get serious now, please.
So obviously, I totally get what you said about um, it got to a point where it was just too much, the drama and everything. It was affecting, by the sounds of it, your well-being, your I suppose mental health, really. If it's obviously getting you down and putting you in a state that you don't want to be in, right? Was there
Yeah,
any
to a degree, yeah.
was there any point that you thought, like, I don't know, just for me as a person, I suppose my missus could vouch for this as well. I'm a bit of a stubborn fucker. Like, if I feel that there's people out there trying to control my emotions, or at least give them that power to be able to affect my emotions in a way where I could make decisions that I may be making because of their actions or whatever, or a collective of actions and situations that would happen, that would make me think, no, fuck you. I'm gonna do something to make this still work, and I'm gonna fucking basically say fuck you to you. I'm gonna still fucking stay here. You're the problem, and I'm gonna make this somehow. I mean, I'm just saying from my perspective, but I know
Yeah.
obviously I wasn't in your shoes. I wasn't experiencing what you were experiencing. So was there any point where you thought, when you thought like that, like, well, am I going to let these people dictate what my next steps are? Or were you at a point anyway where you were kind of thinking, this is a bit too much anyway? And it was kind of like that was the nail in the coffin, so to speak, of a long, like, that's it, I've had enough. I cannot see anything past this. Um, Or was there anything in your mind where you thought, you know what, I might just take a break and then come back? Or was it just like, no, fuck this? Because as I said, for me, that drives me on to, if somebody tries to fucking bring me down, that makes me want to fucking do it even more. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to show you what I'm who I am, what I'm capable of. I'm going to fucking, does that, you may not be that type of person, so I can't, I'm only speaking for myself, and we're all different. We're all got different perspective, personalities.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
my
yeah.
personality. I'm a bit like right, you try to get me down, push me down, take this away, whatever. I'm going to come back even harder and stronger. I'm like, no, fuck this shit. I'm not letting somebody do this to me. So I don't know. Did you ever think like that or feel like that or?
I think it's about scale. So I think for me, I understand what you're saying. I understand the point that you're making, which is, you know, um, I'll try and find an example of where that was been the case. So there was a point where before the magazine, there was a little. I'm not gonna. I can't. I have to be careful because I'm not going to mention names. Hang
No,
on.
no, we don't need to go there, bro. This
I
is
have to
just
wear the shades for this. I have to wear the shades.
wear
I
the
have to wear.
shades, then
I
mention
have
the
to.
names and say it wasn't you.
I have to Kanye West this shit out.
Mate,
So like,
wear the shades, yeah. Wear the shades. Say the names. Take the shades off, and just say, "Look, that wasn't me, guys. That was my
Kanye,
my alter
Kanye.
ego."
Um,
No,
so I think there was a period of time when I do have to be careful what I say, man, because like I say, I don't want to mention no names. But there was. How do I answer this question? There are only so many times that you can do that before you think, I'm gonna fucking find your address, you motherfucker, and come to your house and speak to you about it face to face and stop this internet shit. And although that might sound really aggressive and really like, whoa, what the fuck, man? There was a thing that happened. So before the magazine, there was a thing that happened where this particular person and this particular group of people.
yeah,
And this might sound really petty, but I'll just tell you the script.
it's fine, bro.
They
Let's
kept,
let's just get it all out in that.
yeah, no, they kept using the killer tapes hashtag. So I had this hashtag. Even saying it sounds fucking so stupid. I had this hashtag. So I had a few hashtags that I would use on social media. One of them was like hashtag killer tapes podcast, hashtag killer tapes, hashtag killer tapes radio, whatever. And this group of people kept using this thing. So I asked them to stop doing it. And as a result of that, they like dissed me, man, on YouTube. You can still find these videos on YouTube. And they dissed me and they dissed Killer Tapes. And
Was
to
it because
that,
of that, or was there anything deeper behind it?
basically, I asked them to stop doing this.
Yeah, and
So
that
like
was it. That was it. That
they
was it.
kept using these hashtags, and I was like, "Yo, stop using the hashtag." And then
Yeah.
it was like they made these videos, and to be fair, the videos are very funny. So, so
Big up for saying that as well, bro. Because that's
yep. They are very witty, these fucking videos. I don't want to promote them. I don't want to send people to them. But to be fair to these guys, they are fucking funny, these videos. But they're like attacking me personally, you know, and attacking like the way that I would do killer tapes and like even the way that I would like say things. I can't say too much because, like I say, I don't want to promote this fucking diss that they've made on this video. But they were dissing me. So at first, like you say, my response to that was like, I'm gonna fucking show you. And then the magazine came out not long after that, and maybe subconsciously part of me making the magazine was a response to this. I don't know. It wasn't a conscious
Yeah,
thing.
maybe somewhere, maybe there was a part of your subconscious. Yeah.
Maybe something, and it just actually because of that, not long after that, maybe 6 months or a year after that, you know, Killer Tapes did kind of blow up. I mean, you know, it didn't really ever blow up to the point where it was like a viral thing, but like it went from getting 50 likes on Instagram and 200 listens on the website to like 100 likes on Instagram and 1,000 listens on the website, you know, when the magazine came out. So at first, yeah, for sure, I agree with you. There was an element, and I do have that as well. I also have that of like, I'll fucking show you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
I'll come back from this. Like,
It's healthy, but can be a curse sometimes as well because it can backfire. But
I
yeah,
just think I just think there's only so many times when that keeps happening and it keeps
yeah,
happening, it keeps happening. And I think there's something about, and you know, I'm not going to sit here and like try and make out as if Killer Tapes was this like viral sensation or this like famous thing, but in our really small community of UK hip hop, I know that Killer Tapes dominated a corner of that
100%.
for sure. I just think there's a lot to be said about people that can become famous artists, people that can become, you know, world recognized names and sustain that without being affected by an ongoing barrage of beef, of drama, of people coming at you. I can't do it.
Mm.
You know, whether that makes me weak or sensitive or whatever, it ain't for me, man. It's not
Yeah,
something that I can personally cope with. So I think there was just maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times of that happening where I started to feel like, fuck, man, you know, I'm getting like beef from this shit. I'm getting like I'm getting drama from this. This is like
mm.
causing me fucking anxiety. I'm like getting stressed from this. Where eventually I just thought, I don't need to do this, man.
Yeah,
You know. So yeah. So to answer your question, there was definitely times where I thought like, I'll show you, you motherfuckers. I'll come back fucking leading the pack. I will, you
yeah.
know, you throw me to the wolves, but I'll come back leading the fucking pack, you motherfuckers. But just after a time, I think if it becomes just about that, if it becomes just about proving a point, if it becomes just, you know, I'm constantly, you know, swimming upstream, or climbing the mountain, as opposed to it being like, yo, I'm excited for this. When I first started Killer Tapes, like we were talking about before, you know, it's fun. The first like 6 months, 12 months, even 2 years, man, of me doing the Killer Tapes hip hop show before the magazine. If I'm totally honest with you, mate, even though the magazine was amazing and I loved that we did the magazine and the magazine was a big thing, it kind of killed it, man. If I had never done the magazine and I just stuck to the radio shows, I'd probably still be doing it now because the radio shows was what I actually liked to do. You know, I would like, I'd go to the email address, I'd get the tracks that had been submitted, I'd like put them all in, and I would make the show, and I would like really think about the show and how it would like flow and what songs should go here, and then I would think about what I would say in between like 3 or 4 of the tracks and like have a bit of banter and all of that. When it stopped being about that and became more about the magazine and maybe self-admittedly became about selling the magazine,
Mm.
you know, thinking like maybe this magazine could become, maybe I could sell 10,000 copies of this magazine and maybe one day I'll be fucking rich or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I think when it became when I started to go down that line, and I was inundated, and I mean I was genuinely inundated with messages from people, man, like 50 to 100 messages a day from people, you know, because there's a magazine, and there is no magazine in UK hip hop, so people want to be in it. It just changed it, man. It changed the dynamic. It changed the atmosphere of it. It all started to become a little bit like, you know, and I stopped caring about the show, the weekly radio show, and started to become too focused on the magazine.
Yeah.
And I think if I'd have had a team of, say, 10 people, you know, that could do the magazine, that could do the radio shows, because we did events as well, you know, even though they weren't like loads of events throughout the year, we did like, I think we did 2. So we did one with Bill Shakes, we did one with Verb T. We promoted the Verb T gig 6 months in advance. We promoted the Bill Shakes gig six months in advance. We sold nearly 400 tickets for the Bill Shakes gig, 300 tickets for the Verb T gig. You know, that in itself is a big task. It's a big thing. You know, we're dealing with eventually interviewing people from like High Focus, interviewing Dirty Dyke, interviewing Capo for the magazine. There was just too many plates to spin, and then to be getting this like backlash from people because they weren't in the magazine, or because they weren't, you know, on the events or whatever. There's only so many times where you can have that mentality that you're mentioning there of like, I'll fucking show you. I'll come back leading the pack, and I'll prove my point, kind of thing. There's only so many times that I personally can reinvent that wheel and keep coming back with that.
Well, that's understandable, to be honest, man. Now that you think, like, as I said, I can't really, because you've experienced it. I have to put myself, I kind of in your shoes a little bit, because I suppose I can't really imagine it because I haven't experienced it. So, but when you're explaining it to me, and now I'm kind of really sort of thinking, because it's hard enough doing everything I'm doing now anyway, right?
Yeah.
But then having to deal with, because obviously, although I've got somebody who deals with the sort of the emails and the playlist, but if he's constantly coming, even now he comes to me sometimes and says, you know, this person sent this, and you know, there's a few things here, and do you know what I mean? Like he still comes to me and gets advice on how he should respond and things like that.
Sure.
But imagine that on a scale of, as you were saying, and I'm still trying to fucking do what I'm trying to do.
I think my advice to you,
it would get frustrating for me. So I guess I can put myself in your shoes in that respect. But I think the part that
the mistake that I made, and I can be dead honest about it because it doesn't bother me anymore. You know, it doesn't exist anymore. The mistake that I made, probably naively, is believing that I could spin all of these different plates.
Yeah.
And I think it's about understanding that what you've got already with the show is good enough. It doesn't have to be, you know, in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, 2 years' time, where you start to get some bright idea of like, right, well, the show is doing really good now, and we've built traction, and we've got a good following. So maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll add this to it, and maybe I'll add that to it. And maybe I don't know if it's like some kind of ADHD thing that I've got, or I don't know what the fuck, man. But like my brain just sort of thinks like, I'll do this next, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do this, and it became more complex than I think it needed to be. I think Killer Tape would have been all right just being a radio show, just being what it essentially was. It didn't have to be a magazine. It didn't have to be an events thing. It didn't have to be a record label. It didn't have to be any of the other things other than just a weekly show that plays the tunes that people want to hear. So like, what's it called? Disorder. Suspect Packages. What's the guy called from Suspect Packages? The Disorder. Because people used to say, man. Yeah, the Suspect Packages used to do the distribution for a lot of
You're right. Yeah.
I think the guy was called Disorder, and I think he used to do a weekly or a monthly hip hop show, as well as distributing the records for like Blah Records, Sonny Jim, Cap, whoever. He was like the main distribution guy that people would send their vinyl to, and he would distribute it to all the shops and all the rest of it. But he would also do like a weekly playlist.
Yeah.
And I think eventually he then stopped doing this weekly playlist. And people would say to me, like, since the Disorder show stopped, we come to Killer Tapes. and that could have been enough, man.
Yeah.
There was no reason for me. Listen, the magazine was awesome, and I'm glad we did 13 issues. Yeah, 13 issues of the magazine, and there are people out there that have got this. You know, they've got every single copy of the magazine, and they can keep that for the rest of time. And it was a really cool thing that we did, but we didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
It could have been. It could have stayed in its lane and been this radio show, and just existed like Itch FM. Like
Yeah.
Sammy J has done her show consistently, week in, week out, for like 15 years, man. You know, and there's a lot to be said for that, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think where my naivety was like, we're gonna take over the world, Pinky.
Well,
We're
no,
gonna
man,
fucking
you were ambitious, bro. But
yeah, for sure.
that's actually leads me on to my next question as well, man. Like, when obviously you closed everything down, I think that was what was biggest shock for me was that I thought what you might have done would have been to just say, right, I'm not going to do the Killer Tapes competition thing anymore.
Yeah,
Not going to do the magazine, or I'm going to do the
yeah,
magazine, but very, very, very like maybe do it every now and again, sort of thing, like maybe
yeah.
twice a year or whatever, and
No,
just
you
do the
go ahead.
fucking podcast, bro, and
Yeah, man.
just made it really simple. The thing that really, I suppose, made me feel sad, really, is because you created something incredible, and I've got so much respect for that. You put so much heart and soul into it, and everything that you were doing, and then for it just to disappear as if it never happened, apart from the magazines, obviously
Yeah.
that made me feel sad, bro. Like I thought,
And
oh man, and
I'm
I
glad
wanted
you people.
if we were together, I would have put my arm around you and given you a hug because for me, no, I'm not
Come
trying to
give us
say
a
that.
hug, man.
No,
Come give
no,
us
no.
a hug.
Yeah, there you go,
Uh,
come on, bro. No, but do you know what I mean? Because I know what that must have been like to do that. Because
yeah,
I know how much you put of yourself into it, man.
yeah,
So was that kind of a decision that you really sort of thought it was going to be finer and that was it? Or was it just like it was more because how you were feeling at the time? You were like, right, I've just got to end this. Better to cut it out and not have any residue of residual bullshit. Just fucking get rid of it. Or was there a thing
no,
where
there's a reason.
moment? Yeah, go on.
There's a, there's a reason for this, man. Yeah, no, it's a good question, man. It's some fucking good questions, bro. That's a good question. You've been thinking about this shit. The honest reason for this, because, and with this as well, like, I want to do another big shout out to Kelvin, because Kelvin Staples, you know, without kissing his ass too much, is such a fucking like soldier, man, with this shit. You know, like when he is attached to something, if he'd never met me and he got involved with some other crew or some record label or something like that, he would have executed the decision exactly the same way, like a fucking soldier, man. He is like he's a military genius. Um, and the reason that I say that is because he objected to this. He was like, do we have to do this like this? Can we not keep this? Can we not keep that? You know, this was a big part of his life. You know, Kelvin
Yeah,
Staples. I don't want to talk too much about the man's personal life, but I know that before Killer Tapes, he was he was in I think I'd be all right to say this anyway. That he was in a dark place in his life,
okay.
and Killer Tapes gave him an outlet of expression that he'd never experienced before, and it gave him a place and a platform where he wasn't just, you know, the guy's got 5 daughters, man. He's
Yeah, I
got
know.
five
Yeah,
daughters,
he said
and
to
he's
me,
got a
yeah, he
son.
mentioned this. Yeah,
You know, he's like, his identity was just dad,
yeah,
which is great, but also quite emasculating when you've got wife and 5 daughters in a house. There's fucking 6 females, and you're the only man. You know, he
yeah,
needed an outlet. And for me to just kind of like pull the rug on that and sort of go like, it's gone, it's dead, forget it, was a lot for him to kind of process, you know. So I had to really understand. I had to help him to understand, and through me helping him understand why I was doing this, I was probably helping myself understand why I was doing this. And this is to answer your question, which is
yeah,
it's about reputation. So the music industry, and I'm not trying to teach anybody how to suck eggs. Anybody watching this, I'm not trying to be this wise old sage, but I'm 39 years old and I've been involved in music and I've been around the music scene. I've been involved with musicians and been around musicians since I was 6 years old, man. I have done this shit. I know the fucking score with music. It's about reputation. If you break your reputation, if your reputation means shit, you can't come back. There's no equivocations with that. You have to retain a reputation. So there's a line, and this is how I kind of justified it with Kelvin. There's a line in a Batman film, I think it's The Dark Knight, where somebody says, you either what is it now? You either die a hero or you live long enough to be the villain.
Yeah.
And that basically means that if your reputation is intact and you cut all ties, that reputation is eternal. That reputation will precede itself. People will talk about that forever. But if you live long enough, you can become the bad guy. An example of that is Don't Flop. So I don't know if you know much about Don't Flop, but Don't Flop should have died a year or two before it actually died. And the reputation, and I'm not going to slag anybody off from Don't Flop, but Don't Flop's reputation is fucking shit, man. And that's because a lot of what happened with Don't Flop was really fucking dodgy, and people started to make fucking money out of it that they shouldn't have been making, and it just, the reputation of it just died, and it had they've tried to reincarnate it and bring it back in certain ways, and no one cares, man, and nobody cares because it fucking died a death. And I think Killer Tapes, hopefully, I might be wrong, but I'm hoping, by killing Killer Tapes completely, killing it, it's dead, it's gone. The magazine's gone, the radio show's gone, the fucking website's gone, it's gone. Whatever was left at that time has now become immortalized and has become an eternal thing that people will look back on. Maybe not now, because it's still fresh, but in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, people will look back and go, remember that Killer Tapes? It was like a magazine. In the same way of like Kung Fu. I don't know if you remember Kung Fu. Remember Kung Fu?
No, I don't, man. No.
Yeah, Kung Fu was like an event, man. Kung Fu was like this. Lo-fi is probably a good example.
Yeah.
For whatever people think about Brain Tax and how he did the dirty on people and whatever the fuck, look, he cut it at a time where he should have cut it. Brain Tax was a very fucking clever man. He wasn't a fool. He didn't just like willy-nilly decide to like cut this thing. However, he dealt with that and dealt with the artists, and those artists might not have been very happy with how he dealt with it. He decided to do that at a time when it was probably the smartest time to do it. We can still look back at Chester P. We can still look back at Jest. We can still look back at like Task Force and all these people, Skinny Man and A Council State of Mind and things like that. It hadn't got to the stage where maybe 10 years after that, we have, as receivers of this music, looking at it like, that's fucking shit, because this is better. Like we immortalized this music. Skinny Man is still performing.
I know, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
If Chester P wasn't where he is mentally and he wanted to, at any given time, he could flick a switch and he could go on tour any of his music that he did with the lo-fi. Jest is still making money from the music that he, from High Plains Drifter now, today. For whatever you think about Brain Tax, it stopped at a time when it had to stop. And I think, I'm not trying to say that Killer Tapes was on the same level as these people at all, man, but it had to stop at some point, and I think that was a good time for it to stop. When the rumblings start to happen and reputation starting to decrease and people are starting to bitch, maybe it's time to quit while you're ahead and cut your losses and move on from it, so that it can be this thing that happened that people in, like I say, 10 years from now can look back on and like, yo, remember that Killer Tapes? That Killer Tapes was fucking cool as fuck, man. there was magazine and there was like this radio station, like this northern fucking weirdo had this like weird banter thing on his radio show, and it can be something that was a moment as opposed to it developing this bad reputation where people like that fucking Killer Tapes was shit, weren't it? In terms of time. So I think I tried to, rather than kill it, I tried to immortalize it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. That's a perspective I would never have thought of, to be honest, bro. So I really appreciate, obviously.
You're a very fucking clever guy, K-Saulz. You're a fucking clever, but the camera fucking glasses on.
Well, look, bro. I think that's a great place to bring this interview to an end, man. And again, really appreciate you coming on board, coming obviously on the show. You know, talking to us and being so obviously honest and open as well. And yeah, it's been fun, obviously, and it's been good to obviously finally speak to you face to face. We haven't actually done this before, so
no, we haven't. No, it's weird.
It's madness, isn't it?
You haven't done this, man. It's really weird. It's awesome. Let me just say something as well, man. That like, obviously, like this is like I don't know if you understand. You will understand this because you fucking know the score, but like, it's like a full circle moment because obviously, I truly believe in the show. I think that this format that you've got is cool, man. There's just nothing like it, man. There's not very many. I know that Blade's doing his thing. Blade's got a studio, but to go on Blade's show, you have to travel to. And this is no disrespect to Blade, obviously, but like you have to travel to Kent to do this thing. You know, to be on Sammy J's show, you have to go to Sammy J's gaff, or she plays your tracks. There aren't that many. If any at all, UK hip hop like video call things, and you know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't fucking know. But this
we will only see. We will only see.
No, this format that you've got obviously started like it initially started with me and you. And, you know, there was Lips, and we came up with this kind of thing. You came up with this thing. And you wanted to do a show. You came to Killer Tapes and was like, yo, man, let's do this thing with Killer Tapes. And then Killer Tapes literally like 3 weeks later was like,
I know. But you helped be the catalyst, man. So I
think you are so good at this, man. You've got a really good way about it. Like I can feel, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I've done like so many interviews with people that you know, I've interviewed Capo, Verb T, Sonny Jim, Farmer G, and there's like a sense of control that you have to have. So like if somebody's going off piste, you have to like bring it back. You can either do that or you can't, and you can do it, man. You know what you're doing. This is really, really cool. So it's like a nice full circle moment for me to recognize that like maybe something I was involved in that has birthed this thing that maybe a year, 2 years, 3, who gives a fuck? It's gonna work, you know. And,
thank you, brother.
I feel like I've got in I'm getting in early. I'm being like getting
brother.
early, so that, like, when it builds up in a couple of years, like I've already done it, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, look,
thanks for having me, man.
Big love, and hopefully we'll have you back on soon. And look out for Grimee Quick and his music. So Grimee, yeah, let the people know what you got coming. What can we look forward to in terms of obviously releases and so forth? And yeah, man, are you going to be performing anywhere or all that sort of jazz?
So I've mentioned a couple of times like doing different things, and then I've been like kind of lost. So I've like mentioned I was at the studio, and then I was like a little bit lost, and I got No Authentic Records, and I was like lost after that, and I did Killer Tapes. So even though like Killer Tapes in April kind of shut its digital doors, if you will, I have felt a bit lost in the last couple of months. Like, what the fuck do I do now? You know what I mean? I've got this like need to put something out. So there is an album of music that I've been working on, because I also do a little bit of rap here and there, you know. I do a little bit of music. So I have been making an album with my mate that I've mentioned quite a few times now, MC Slip, and we've been working on this album for about a year, and I'm also aware that like people who do, you know, hip hop outlets like from Don't Flop, who then become like, you know, oh, I'm also a rapper, you know, it can be perceived as being a little bit lame. Like, I'm not just saying it. This album that me and Slippy are doing is fucking dope, man. It's some of the best music that I've ever been involved in. You know, I've listened to a lot of UK hip hop over the past like 4 or 5 years, and perhaps that's influenced some of my style, and my awareness of what UK hip hop should kind of sound like. So me and Slippy have got an album that's going to come out next year that's called Liquid Matter. Liquid Matter is a concept album. It's a good UK hip hop album that's going to come out. However, the crux of what I'm going to say is that it's going to be available on Nuke Fam Records. So Nuke Fam Records is kind of like my new home. They've been like really, really cool about me releasing this album. So basically, I didn't just want to make a UK hip hop album and then stick it on Bandcamp, on my Bandcamp, or on Slippy's Bandcamp, and then just, you know, hit and hope hope that like people go and buy it. I wanted to put it on a record label, you know, like a UK hip hop record label. So Nuke Fam Records is a record label that I've like played a lot of their music on killer tapes before. They have Iron Monkey. They've worked with Chemistry. They've worked with a guy called Escar. I don't know if you've heard of Escar, but like he's fucking so dope, man. Escar did a series of mixtapes with Iron Monkey called Back to the Future. So there's Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. There's Chillsmith. There's Mickey Swags. They're a northern, I think they in Yorkshire. I think they're a Yorkshire-based northern hip hop label, basically. They did a gig recently that Capo was on in a place called Melody 7, and that was in Leeds recently. So yeah, so Northern, Nuke Fam Records are going to put this album out. So while I was talking to Nuke Fam Records, like, you know, do you think you'd be able to put this album out next year? And they was like, yeah, man, you know that'd be really, really cool. And as part of the deal with those guys of producing our album next year, I offered my services, for lack of a better word. You know,
so hand jobs and blow jobs, is it?
Hand jobs and blow jobs and fucking being away on these fucking MCs.
A few bukkake parties, is it?
You know, score. You know the fucking score up there. I really like I said to you before, man. You know, I rap. I can rap. I can sing. I can play music. But I really, really like writing reviews, man. You know, like writing hip hop writing is something like, you know, there's very few people that enjoy hip hop writing, UK hip hop writing. Like Ginger Slim is probably one of the only other people that I can name that like writes specifically for UK hip hop, and I really like it, man. I love it.
Steve Ryder as well. Do you know Steve?
Steve Ryder as well, man.
Big up
Steve
to him,
Ryder.
man.
Do you know? I'll just very, very, very quickly. Steve Ryder is a fucking G. So my daughter went through this little phase of making like wax melts and putting them on the internet. And Steve Ryder bought some of my daughter's wax melts years ago.
Oh, like wicked, man.
He's a genuinely nice guy, Steve Ryder. So yeah, so big up to Steve Ryder as well. Ginger Slim, Steve Ryder, you know, and fucking Grimee Quick, man. You know, Craig from Killer Tapes. I really enjoy writing about this fucking this UK hip hop shit.
Yeah.
I thought to Escar. Escar runs Nuke Fam Records, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to put the album out that I'm going to produce next year, and was like, you know, can I help? Can I do something with Nuke Fam Records? And so I'm a bit drunk now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it, and I might get into trouble for saying it. I'm not supposed to. I'm
We
not
could,
supposed to say this. However, I don't give a fuck because I've had a few fucking beers.
if you want us to edit it out, I'll edit it out. Just hit me up in it when you're not bladdered.
When I'm not inebriated.
Yeah.
So Nuke Fan Records, I don't give a fuck. I don't think they'll give a fuck. Fuck it. Don't edit it out. Let's just raw dog it, man. Let's fucking
Yeah,
just
that's it, man.
do this
That's
shit.
it.
Who gives a
That's it.
fuck? Let's go. Come on. So Nuke Fan Records are going to do an album towards the end of the year with Rams and Bad Bones, man.
Sick.
Rams, it's going to be fuck. Listen, it's going to be fucking sick, mate. I'm telling you. So this album is going to be with a guy called Cy Martial Law. I'm not supposed to be saying any of this, man. I'm not supposed to be saying this.
We got an
But
exclusive, people. We got an exclusive.
I think the fact that I am saying it is fucking quite cool. So Cy Martial Law, he's been mentioned on Sway recently. He's a fucking sick rapper, man. But Ramson Bad Bones has produced this album, so he's like the main producer on the album. He's
Yeah.
not really a rapper on the album. He does rap on one of the tracks, but he produced the album, so he
Yeah.
the beats for the album. It's been mixed by Iron Monkey, and Cy Martial Law is an American rapper MC that's like done the rounds in America. He's been on Sway FM recently. He's fucking sick. Honestly, this album is so good, man. I'm not going to mention the name of the album, but it's so good, mate. Honestly, it's really, really good. So I'm going to be writing reviews for that album, press releases for that album, and just doing some like marketing stuff for the album
Yeah.
towards the end of the year. And Nuke Fan Records have asked me to kind of like join forces with them. So like I'm going to be on that team, doing some marketing stuff with them, doing some like hip hop writing with those guys, and coming up with ideas for like gigs and marketing assets and stuff like that. So I just wanted to do before I wrap it up and say like sayonara and bye bye. I wanted to do a big shout out to Nuke Fan Records.
Big
If
up.
anybody watching, big up, man. If anybody watching never heard of Nuke Fan Records, they are not fucking around. They are a northern powerhouse of UK hip hop, and they're going to be making some big fucking moves in the next couple of years, man. They are not fucking around. They've just done a gig in the north a couple of weeks ago with Capo at a place called Melody 7. They're doing this album with Ramson Bad Bones at the end of the year, and they're going to be making some big moves, man. So big
Well,
up to
mate.
Nuke Fan Records. I'm going to be involved with those guys over the next couple of years, or next, unforeseeable amount of years or whatever. And yeah,
Don't
that's what
look
I'm
too
going to do,
far
man.
ahead, bro. I'm just very happy for you. Congratulations on that,
Yeah,
because
man. Give
it's
me a
great to
home,
hear,
man.
man. That's it, man. It's because
Give
it would.
me an outlet to do this shit, that I love so much. Like I love
That's it.
UK hip hop so much, man.
That's it,
So
man. We love this culture, and it would have been a shame if obviously we didn't hear any more from you, man. It's just
you're
like that
gonna
was
hear
it.
from me, man. I'm gonna be on the fucking videos. I'm gonna be on the reviews. I'm
There
gonna be
you
up in
go.
the fucking shit.
Yes, brother. That's what we want to hear, man. That's what we want to hear. As I said, for me, it was very sad that obviously all that happened, but sometimes things happen for a reason. As you very rightly said, you felt that it's time. Look at some of the greats. Like even let's move out the genre of hip hop and we go into like The Office, right? One of my favorite series. They only had a couple of series. Or some of the greats just go out on a bang rather than
For
overstaying
sure,
their welcome. And as you said,
exactly.
they'll go down in sort of
I
as
think
part of the
sometimes
culture.
it's important to know when to, curtail something rather than just keep it going for the sake of keeping it going because you think, yeah, no, I'm getting some success from this. It's like just knock it on the head, man. Just
Mm.
let it be what it was, and progress and evolve and move forward with things. And like hip hop, UK hip hop is its own thing. Hip hop in general is its own genre of music, and I will be involved with that fucking shit until the day that I take my last breath. I tell you that.
Well, there you
It
go,
doesn't
bro.
matter.
And the
If
universe knows that, Let's get a little bit deep here, because you've got something in you that wants to do that. The universe will bring another opportunity into your path, you know, just
Yeah,
like was
man.
what happened with Nuke Fam Records. That wouldn't have
Yeah.
happened if Killer Tapes was still going. So you have to
No,
kind
yeah,
of
well,
see, you have to
definitely.
kind of see this as like, you know, things happen for a reason. Obviously, you had your reasons, but also there's on a more deeper level. You know, the universe realizes things and it knows if you're on a certain, if you want certain things and you've got certain things in your heart, it will create other opportunities for you. And then,
Exactly. Exactly.
you
We
know
don't
what I
know
mean?
exactly. We don't know which way it's going to take it, but you've got to have
Exactly.
your intention. I believe in
Exactly.
this shit, man.
Yeah, I
Let's get
do,
our
man.
dick out, K-Saulz. Come on, come on. We're on it now.
No, I believe in that sort of stuff, man. You know, as you
I
know, we could
do
get a little
too,
bit
man.
deep.
I believe that we manifest our reality. We create this shit, man.
That's it.
And
That's it.
there's something bigger, much bigger. And this is what I was saying before. This harkens back to what we were saying before about UK hip hop. Like, you're not on your own with that shit. You know, the majority of people that do this music understand that way of thinking, and
Mm,
that's why labels don't touch it, man. You know, we're too conscious. It's you could call it conscious rap. I know it's a bit of a bastardized name in hip hop, like, but like there is just so much content that is based around spirituality, manifest reality, or whatever the
mm,
fuck you want to call it. There's only it's a very intellectual thinking man's kind of arena. This
mm.
and yeah, I really believe that, man. You know, one thing
100%, man.
doesn't happen without the other for sure. So yeah,
100%, bro.
big up to Escar, big up to Nuke Fan Records, big up to all the guys at Nuke Fan Records, man. You know, they've taken me in. I was a little homeless, grinding quick, and they're probably like going, "Oh, go on then, Grimee, go on, you fucking, we'll take you on, you fucking daft bastard."
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure, bro. You know, we've had an amazing conversation. Obviously, as people have listened to the show, we've kept it very much more about this interview, and you know, we've sprinkled some music in there as well. And I've shut the fuck up. No Dick Dastardly for this episode, and unfortunately, so big up to Dick Dastardly. Sorry you couldn't be here, bro. But yeah, until the next one. But anyway, thanks so much, and hopefully we'll have you on once your album drops.
Yeah, man, that'll be
Then
sweet.
you can send it
Love that.
over, and we'll be fucking promoting it, and you'll be coming on and chatting about it. So it'll be a
Love
different
that, man.
interview, you know. So and hopefully we can
Love
get some
that.
of the other guys on board. We could maybe have a Nuke Fam Records special.
That'll be
Um,
sick. That'll be so good, man. That'll be
that
so
would be
good.
dope, bro. That'd be dope. We've obviously always kept it normally for me, Dick, and one other guest. So it would be cool to expand it and have more people involved and stuff. So that'd be wicked. We haven't done that yet, so that is something certainly that would be really good to do. I think the first one we might do is Ill Sykes and Shaky Ground. They've just released an album, and um, big up to Morgan
I know
Ill
those guys.
Sykes.
Well, I know the pair of those guys so well, man. Shaky Ground is like he is a clever dude. That guy, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
sick
I know,
production as well, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, he's a very clever guy, man. I like the pair of them. Il Sykes is such a good rapper, so that'll be so good.
He's a wicked guy as well, man. I've got something coming out with him and Scrolls the Mystic and Milo.
Oh,
We're kind of I don't know if you've heard of Death Seekers. That's our kind of our little group, our little quadruple group.
oh, is that you? Are you in that? Is that, no way.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
that you? You fucking mad guy. Is that you as well? Are you in
yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
Of
Death
course, I'm in the
Seekers.
fucking Death
Yeah,
Seekers.
yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
doing,
So,
man.
yeah, so obviously, yeah.
Yo, go
I
on,
haven't I
then,
haven't spoken to
K-Saulz,
Ill
you mad
Sykes.
fucking bastard.
Mate, I haven't spoken to Il Sykes properly, so I'm really looking forward to actually. I mean, I've spoken to him through, you know, WhatsApp and that sort of stuff, which I don't feel is it's you know it hasn't got all those elements that we can do now, speaking to each other face to face. So I'm
Yeah,
looking
sure.
forward to that as well. But yeah, that'll be probably our first kind of episode where we will have more than
That'll
one
be
guest on
so
there. But
sick, man. That's gonna be so good. That's gonna be
it's
so good.
but yeah, looking forward to obviously having you on with Nuke Fam Records. It's going to be great. I mean, I've never done I haven't done an interview yet where you've got like six people or five people in it. It might get a bit crazy. I might have to have a little
Yeah,
bell or
listen,
something. I might have to
big
ring
shout
a
to
bell to
Escar,
shut
man.
fucking people up. So otherwise, people are gonna
Escar
be
is a
talking all
fucking
over.
cool guy, man. Escar is a very clever guy, man. Escar, like, big shouts to Escar, big shouts to Iron Monkey, Mickey Swags, all the fucking guys at Nuke Fan Records, man. They're doing some serious things, man. They're making some serious moves, and they're a cool little collective. Um, yeah, man, you'll enjoy it, man. They do it. There's going to be an opening. I can forecast this because I can see where High Focus is going, where Blah Records is going, and there's going to be an opening in the next 3, 4, 5 years that's going to be filled by somebody. And Nuke Fan Records is going to like secrete its fucking little way into this opening that's going to come up. You better watch. Trust me, man. I know what I'm talking about.
Mate,
So
I'm
no,
looking
it'll be
forward
cool,
to it.
man. It'll be cool. And big ups to the guys at the show. Big up to you for
Thank
letting
you,
me come
mate.
on the show. Big up to Dick Dastardly and you, man. I really believe in what you're doing.
Thank you,
And
brother.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me, man. Honestly, I mean it, like, humbly. Like, thank you for talking to me about it. Like, I'm. Blade has asked me to go on 521 and do an interview about Killer Tapes as well, and I might do that at some point. Well, I am going to do that at some point, but I wanted to give you guys the it sounds a bit wanky, but like the fucking
It is the
exclusive.
exclusive, bro, because
I
obviously
want to talk to you personally.
everybody's wanted to know, man, because obviously, as I said, it ended so suddenly and stuff. So obviously
We're
you've
on the,
released,
we were on the same team. Like, you came to Killer Tapes.
yeah,
We were on the Killer Tapes like team. So like, I wanted to speak to you about it first before I speak to
yeah, I
anybody else.
appreciate it,
So
man. We really do appreciate it, and
I love you guys, man. I love what you're doing. And I genuinely think that what you're doing is like, it's gonna go in a good direction, man. So thank you for having
I
me on.
appreciate it, bro. And again, thank you so much for being obviously at the start of it, man. You saw it. You saw us being. You basically fucking. You were there when we were being born, man. You saw the head rearing. You fucking. You
Still a
caught
baby,
it
man.
coming out.
Still a baby now. You're still a baby. It's only a baby. You've
Yeah.
already had like Farmer G, Capo, Jazz T, and you've had the fucking most infamous fucking grimy quick killer Craig on the fucking show. Let's go. Fucking
Mate, Grimee,
infuriating
I
Kanye
really
West.
appreciate you, bro. I love the sunglasses. Big up to your daughter as well for obviously for lending those to you, which I thought was
She's gonna
Kanye. It's kind
fucking
of
rip
take.
me a new one tomorrow when she sees this come out. Whenever the fuck this comes out, she's gonna be like, "You were so pissed on that, you embarrassing bastard."
Anyway, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. Big up, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, man. Peace. Thank you so much.